We're holding in Lamed Vav, 36 days of the Omer, 14 days to go, the big day. So, Chesed shebeyesod. Today's Chesed shebeyesod, which means that through the kindness of Hashem, we reach Yesod. One of the aspects of Yesod is Parnasa. Parnasa to the world. It says in the Zohar HaKadosh that through tzaddikim, which are called Yesod, Parnasa comes to the world. And the more we make ourselves into a tzinor, the Zohar HaKadosh calls it a tzinor ilah, an elevated supernal pipeline for Parnasa to come into the world. So one thing that we could certainly do is make more space for others and be simple. Just Hashem, ask Hashem that we should have the schus to bring chesed, that we should bring chesed and Parnasa into the world by being a pipeline of shefa. There's a beautiful story that's written, it's a fact, that every year the Dvar, I think it was called the Dvar Chaim, from the Nadvorna of Zichrono Livracha, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. So he used to go today, the third day, he used to travel up to Miron. And since, as we've explained before, the Alpi Kabbalah, the aspects of the influence and what's called the Ha'ara, the enlightenment of the Tzaddik, lasts at least 3 days of the Yortzeit. So he specifically went on the third day. And he explained, he said he'd rather go at a time when no other Jew needs to be pushed away because of him. Something so beautiful. To think, I'm not going to go as a Rebbe, I'm not going to go at a time where inevitably other Jews are going to have to be pushed away so I could get to Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. How many people think about that? That's a beautiful aspect of Chesed shebeyesod. Thinking how I could make space, and even more than that, bring Chesed and Shefa to the world. What else can we speak about when it comes to this this avodah of 48 ways? So yesterday we discussed oyev teichachos, to love, rebuke, correction, and right away, I'm sure everyone that was listening probably experienced something, because the most common thing is hearing things about other people, fortunately or unfortunately. So you have the chance. So yesterday a lady calls me up about a whole taina that she had about someone else who owed her money and this and that. And I'm training, probably because I speak about this so much, try to train myself to right away think, I know there's another side to the story. There's a book called The Other Side of the Story. And every day I just see it more and more often. So I probably should have even told her, I said, listen, I'm going to speak to the person. I should have told her right away, so I made even a mistake. I said, listen, I can't really be makabel this, because especially when it comes to Chush and Mishpat, there's always two sides to the story. And the best way, and actually I called her up later and I said, the only way we could really solve this is both of you come in front of me. But the amazing thing is, when I called the person who's close to me, I said, listen, this is the story that I heard. I know there's another side to the story. And of course he told me, and it was the exact opposite, at least according to his version, and how much he went out of his way to help this lady, and etc., etc., etc. Oyev hateichachos. Oyev hateichachos, like we said yesterday, is being able to accept critique, criticism, and to be able to give it too, and to appreciate the fact when someone calls you up and says, listen, there's something that someone said about you, and I know it's not true, tell me the story. But tonight, I want to also discuss today, the next aspect of the 36 Kinyan acquisition for Talmud Torah, and that is Hisrachek min hakavod, distancing ourselves from kavod. So this really very much attaches to what we began with, this Nadvorna of. The idea of distancing ourselves from kavod means is that whatever we do, try not to do it in order to impress other people. This world, video, someone told me, a close person, I mentioned this, is that today it's hard even to go and have a moving experience, because half the time we're spending making sure that everything is captured by the picture. It's called the Kodak moment. Now it's much worse, it's a video. Someone wants to go to the cave of a tzaddik and just cry, but it's half of it is already mitigated, because most of the time we almost expect it to be out there, so it loses the lishma, the purity, The Zohar Kodesh says that when we do something, for example, a chesed, you do a kindness. We once mentioned this, that Rabbi Daniel used to say that every day should not go by without doing one thing for your wife or your spouse that they don't know about. Why? It trains us to do things for the right reasons. Lishma. So today, when we go and we do something very meaningful, we do a chesed. Half the time we're thinking, okay, now we want to make sure someone hears about it. We want to make sure that someone knows about it, so we could feel that sense of accomplishment. But the real accomplishment is when that act that we did is only between me and Hashem. No one else. Even our spouse. Especially, I'm not even talking about when you're doing something for the spouse, but even for someone else. And Rav Noach Warnberg Zichron V'Acha points out something so powerful. He says, sometimes we don't even realize, forget when we're doing it consciously, subconsciously, we're so quick to make sure that we could bring ourselves into the picture. You'll notice you speak to someone, and you could think of this, test yourself. How quickly in a conversation with someone else do we somehow ourselves creep up. And easily we're already telling a story about ourselves. And Rav Noach points out that this comes from a deep yearning of meaning. It's sourced from a good place, but we easily fall into the trap of the artificial experience of being there, of being important, of being meaningful. We think by the fact that we impressed people, and now people say, wow, you're such a kind person, therefore we've reached meaning. And of course it's the opposite. The more we deepen ourselves, the more we keep something and we work on ourselves and we don't relate it, the more we change, and therefore the more meaningful we become. And the best way to prepare for Matan Torah is to make space for others, is to focus on working on ourselves for the sake of the Shem Shemayim. So once today, decide if you're speaking to someone, focus only on them. Hear them out, whether it's your spouse, your kid, your friend, your co-worker. Hear their story and make them feel like you're interested in their story, and that you're not just waiting to relate your experience that you just had and the word that you just heard or said. And Bezat Hashem, that's one step forward in preparing ourselves for Matan Torah. Hatzlach.